According to the law of conservation of mass, in any chemical reaction, the total mass of the reactants equals the total mass of the products. No atoms are created nor destroyed. So in this reaction here, you can see hydrogen reacting with oxygen to give water, H2O. If you want to balance this equation, the number of atoms in the reactants need to be equal to the number of atoms in the products. In the reactants, we have 2 oxygen atoms. In the products, we have only 1 oxygen atom. So to balance the equation, we add 2 before water so that we have 2 oxygen atoms because we have 2 molecules of water. But now we have 4 hydrogen atoms in the products and only 2 hydrogen atoms in the reactants. So what should we do? Excellent. We should add 2 before hydrogen, representing 2 molecules of hydrogen, which means that we have 4 H atoms. So now the equation is balanced. Always keep in mind the law of conservation of mass when you try to balance an equation. Now let's answer a few questions on this topic. Considering the reaction we just saw of hydrogen and oxygen reacting together to give water, decide whether the following statements about the equation are true or false. The first statement: there are fewer oxygen atoms in the products than in the reactants. That is false. The number of oxygen atoms is the same in the products and the reactants. This is according to the law of conservation of mass. The second statement: there are the same number of hydrogen atoms in the products and in the reactants. Is that true or false? Correct, this is true. The third statement: there are fewer hydrogen atoms in the products than in the reactants. Is that true or false? That is false. The number of hydrogen atoms in the reactants is 4, and the number of hydrogen atoms in the products is also 4. This is a balanced equation, and according to the law of conservation of mass, the number of atoms in the reactants is equal to the number of atoms in the products. The fourth statement: there are the same number of oxygen atoms in the products and in the reactants. True or false? That is true. You can see that in the reactants we have 2 oxygen atoms. And in the products, after balancing the equation and adding the number 2 before the molecule of water, we now have 2 oxygen atoms in the products. So the number is the same.